Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Man, it is Tuesday and it's 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you know what time it is. It's the Real Money Coach Show time. And you need to put in the chat where you are watching from. What city, what state, where are you tuning in from this evening? We're so happy to have you. I'm looking for my first one to pop it into the chat of where you are watching from. And we have a great show for you this evening. Um, if you're listening to the radio show, all right, we got Massachusetts in the house. I love it. I've been to Massachusetts. I can't say it's a state I've never been to before. Charles Rainey from California, thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate you. Listen, I've been having a great time. As you guys know, I typically will give you a little bit of my schedule, what I'm doing, where I'm going to be. And last week was a really great week. We had the MBN, which is the Matthews Business Networking Conference that was here. Talked a little bit about that last Tuesday. And then from there, I had a great appointment and meeting with the client down in another state. And then I ended up going to Nashville, Tennessee. In Nashville, Tennessee, had an opportunity to visit the First Baptist Church of Murfreesboro. And I discovered while I was in town that there was two First Baptist churches in Murfreesboro. And so that was kind of interesting, but it was a great time there. Got a chance to meet some great people. Got a chance to preach the word, man. Got a chance we did a book signing. Pastor even did a question and answer period after I was done preaching, as we were talking about what we're going to be doing for them in terms of putting together a debt elimination. And what I was so excited about is Pastor James McCarroll. His vision for the church is that they would all be debt free. The church is already debt free. He's been debt free for probably about a decade, but that all the members in the pews would be debt free. And so he had two goals. He wants all the members to be homeowners and all members to be debt free. And so we're going to be doing the debt elimination workshop for that congregation. And we got a pretty good, I don't have it right here in front of me, got a pretty good program lined up. Let me grab it because it's right here. And so this will be our debt elimination workbook that we'll be doing. And we're going through 7 weeks of debt elimination with them starting August 1st. And then let me just give a shout out to a couple people that are watching. We got Monica Landrum from South Carolina. We also I miss Alice Martin from North Carolina. Charles Rainey, yes. The home of Jack Daniels, Murfreesboro. Janelle Perry, thank you for being here as well. And so we got a great group of people coming in, and I see more coming in. Thank you for putting it in the chat where you are watching from. It lets me know, among other things, where our reach is. And then also the fact that you can hear me and that you're able to see the show. And so that's a lot of good stuff. So had a great time there. A couple of things that are coming up here locally in the Charlotte area. One is it will be July 28th and 29th. That will be the viral networking tour. And that's going to be hosted by Tony Harris Taylor, and had an interview on her show today. It was a great time with her, and we're looking forward to that. Now, this particular networking event is a little bit, it's going to be smaller, more intimate, limited to about 30 people. And there will be a VIP networking event that will happen on actually that Friday, a place to be determined, but it will be a table of 10. So it'll be a table of 10 plus, the host. And so we will be looking forward to that. And those of you who are fans of Michelle, she will be in town for the event. And I know that she's away at a conference this week. So she won't be on the show tonight, but she certainly will be there. I do believe that next week, the other announcements, next week we will not have the live show. Still be on the radio, still doing that piece, but we won't have the live show on the 4th of July. We'll be taking the 4th of July off. That is my lovely wife's birthday. So we're not going to be doing a show on the 4th of July. So go somewhere, enjoy some nice, safe fireworks, get you a little barbecue or whatever you happen to do for Independence Day. And then I will not be here on July 25th. I do believe Michelle will be here. The guest that evening will be Tony Harris Taylor, the queen of networking, as Dr. Frazier has crowned her. And so that will be on the 25th in preparation for the event that week. And so lots going on, lot to be excited about. And also, I will be in New Jersey. We'll get that information out to you as well. I can't remember exactly what country club I was invited to come speak at, but there's one in New Jersey that we'll be doing. So lots of things on the schedule. I do want to do this. I do want to get to our guests rather quickly on the show tonight. And part of the reason I want to do that, folks, is because there's a wealth of information. And many of you have probably seen people, you've been approached, especially if you're a business owner, about business funding and all those types of things. And, tonight we're going to really kind of dig into that. And we're going to talk about some of the, maybe some of the myths about business funding, things that we may not know. Thank you, Ms. Shaw, for being here from North Carolina. And so we're going to unpack that. We're going to get a chance to really kind of talk about some of those things with my guest, whose name is Marvin Wilson. Again, we had a great time in the studio last week. I think we could have just went on and on and on. I had a chance to be around Marvin a couple different times now. Went to his office. We kind of had great conversation there. We've had lunch together. And so I've really gotten a chance to get to know Marvin. But let me tell you a little bit about his background here. Thank you, Janelle. I will pass that on. And we got a greetings from somebody on Facebook. I'm sorry I'm not calling your name because it doesn't appear. But we're glad that you are here. We're glad you're here. But let me tell you about Marvin. Marvin is a Desert Storm vet. So, big ups to all the vets out there. Served in the U.S. Navy for 8 years. He has massive experience in the travel and ticketing industry. We'll talk a little bit about that. And that's through celebrity events, concerts across the whole nation. And in 2021, he launched North Carolina's, or the Carolinas, let's put it that way, the first non-depository banking franchise, Lendio Central Charlotte, where he helps business owners fund their dreams. All right. And so that includes everything from handling commercial real estate to land development to private equity, helping you scale your business. The number one thing that we hear all the time is I can't scale because I don't have funding and that type of thing. So let's get that problem solved tonight. And let's bring on my guest, Mr. Marvin Wilson.
How you doing?
Hey, right, bro, how you doing?
What's going on, brother?
Man, it's all good, man. Now that you're on the show, listen to that. You got standing applause, man. When the money man come in, everybody stands up. Hey, what's going on? All right, man. Latricia from Mississippi. She's with us tonight. And look, Janelle says, way to go, veterans, right? So
all right. There you go.
For the vets, man, put their lives on the line. I'm assuming you might know Miss Shaw. She said, hey, Marvin, And so pretty awesome to see.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So man, tell me, man, just for you and I had such a rich conversation in the studio.
Yeah,
Learned a
we
whole
did.
lot about you. You were very transparent about some of the things you'd been through and all that kind of good stuff. And so, so man, so tell the people that are watching tonight, give them the update, man. What's BJ Murphy says, "What's up, Mark?"
All
Right?
right, all
So,
right.
so
That's my
listen,
brother. Yeah. That's
that's your
BJ.
brother, huh?
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh yeah, man. We go way back, way
way
back,
back,
way back.
love it,
Yes,
man,
sir.
love it.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
well, all you folks are here, man. If you're on the YouTube, if you go over to the Real Money Coach, man, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to Marvin's channel because we want to do things in a big way, right? Because nobody gets excited over something small, right?
Right.
We all want to think big. But Marvin, before we kind of jump into some of the content for tonight, man,
Mm-hmm.
just tell a little bit about your background and where you've been and who you are.
Well, originally, again, I'm a North Carolinian, small town right up the street. Big ups to Salisbury, North Carolina, Livingstone. The Blue Bears up there, Fighting Bears, rather, Catawba College. You might have heard of those, schools there.
Absolutely.
Went into the military at 17, man, and I had some athletic, opportunities, but at that time, it just the military just it was something I think that was a little bit sort of sentimental to me. I needed to, go out there and see what was going on in the world. And
Right.
I was happy I did that. I was a two-time Desert Storm. Made two trips out to Bahrain, and I was on the destroyer out there. And seen a lot, experienced a lot. Again, I was 17. Um, that was a really interesting time. My mom and dad had to write like a letter because I was the only child during wartime. So, that was sort of like a sensitive thing. So they had to like
Wow.
give me, authorization to go into this thing. So that was cool, but it was like, okay, I didn't really go in wanting to beat my chest. I just wanted to really go and see what the world was about, and I did. And and so I did 8 years in there, and had a wonderful time, wonderful experience. Got to be able to see the Pentagon. I got to meet a couple presidents, a lot of admirals, a lot of people in politics, and with that type of aroma in my career, I was actually I was a secretary for the captain. So I was sort of had a Navy job, but I also had a secretarial job. So I was a little bit, in the offices where the brass was, Tony. And
Okay.
then when I went to war, I was a helo squad leader, which was a whole different. When anybody knows about the Navy, you have two jobs. You have a damage control job to save your life, and then you have a job, which is we call a rate. But my other job was it was sort of like we were in chemical biological warfare, and so with
Mm.
that being said, we had to really, really, help people that was coming out of the live war and really sort of decontaminate those guys. So seeing that type of stuff and people melting, it was a
Man,
lot,
that's
man.
crazy.
No, I mean, I don't want to get too TMI on this thing, but but I wear my 100%, with a lot of I wear it proudly, brother. But but at the end of the day, man, it go into my career. I went to the Veterans Hospital, worked there for about 5 years, retroactive towards my retirement, and at that time, Tone, I just sort of felt like I'd done my time. I think I felt like
Okay.
I, far as filled me as serving, I think I'd done that. So I got that entrepreneur bug and started from travel, as as you talked about earlier, and then from there it got into ticketing, and I think that's where a lot of people sort of really started, under knowing who I was, and we brought a whole lot of different economic opportunities to Charlotte and surrounding areas. I was working with one of my mentors at that time. God bless him. He's passed a couple of years ago. Um, and he was the owner of Easy Ticks, and you know, it was a sort of a black ticketing platform at that time, and so we brought a ticketing platform into the CIAA, and we did get to see those years when CIAA did 70, $80 million when it came to just economic circulation and black power, black economic buying power is what we saw it at that time. And it really it just changed Charlotte as a city and all. And so it just opened my eyes up to really see what business was about. I was able to really be able to you know, harness a lot of great relationships in media, grant writing, just political realm. Again, it was just great because I was really be able to really be around a lot of great decision makers. But again, going back to the military, I was just sort of Tone, I guess for me, I could only speak for myself. You know, when you don't put your life on the line, you look at business a little bit different.
Mm.
You know, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it big. You're going to think big, and you're just going to you know, you're going to vibrate on a frequency. Just really is not a lot of fear. You know, and you know, I've willed myself in a lot of positions, and I think thank God for my journey. But I think that made me a well-rounded person, and it really made my intellect a little bit you know, different when it comes to seeing areas that I could be able to either support or serve or you know, see opportunities and you know, and really be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So
Man, that's
that's the
pretty awesome. I imagine I've never been in the military, but I imagine that there's some things that happen. Um, there's probably some things that occur in the military that you probably don't get anywhere else. You
oh
know,
yeah,
so you know, just like you know, the maturity, the thinking, like you mentioned, no fear.
yeah.
I mean, I imagine that that's pretty. I mean, who's you seen chemical warfare? You just talking about you just dropped the melt, seeing people melt. I mean,
Yeah,
that's got
I
to
mean,
open you up, man.
yeah, it was interesting, Tone, because you got to understand that that first that Desert Storm War from via 1991 to early 90s, it wasn't really it was missiles, but it wasn't really bullets, Tony. It was
Mm,
chemical biological warfare. I mean, it wasn't really no bullets. It
right,
was you know, it was chemicals out in the air, and they were, you know, it was a lot of testing models that was going on, and a lot of people was dying and didn't even know they were dying. You know what I'm saying? You
right,
know, and it had a whole it was had a long term effect on a lot of friends and colleagues of mine, even after post war, because you know, those guys come home with their wives and families, and you know, or either want to you know, have kids, and a lot of times that, you know, it played a toll because, you know, it affected, you know, the kids. You know, a lot of times, you
right.
know, kids, you know, they were deformed, and it was a lot of things that happened with that. So, you know, luckily enough, man, you know, I got out of there and was, you know, sound good, and but I really wanted to really, I was determined to say, hey, you know, if I got through this, you know, Tone, I mean,
Yeah, ain't no,
you know,
what's going?
you
Come on,
know,
come on. Right. So you started a little bit in the travel business, and
yeah,
then kind of talk a little bit. Then you went into
yeah.
the
Well,
ticketing.
I mean, it's great, man, because my stepfather that basically raised me, he was, you know, you know, and I'll just put it out there. It was in my book, Passion for Freedom. Go check that out, guys. Passion for Freedom is on Amazon.
Passion
Um,
for Freedom by
yeah,
Marvin Wilson.
absolutely. Passion for Freedom, brother. And, you know, ninth grade education, man, he wind up, you know, getting his stock out of Food Town to Food Lion, which was great at that time. And he opened up a travel business. At the travel business, I don't want to make it sort of saying like it was more of a travel agency. He pretty much had more like passenger buses, like Greyhound buses, and he bought about three or four of them. And at that time, he patronized a lot of churches and a lot of organizations, um, as you mentioned, a lot of just a lot of great organizations that was like country clubs. So he was, I had a very diverse childhood. I was really be able I was really blessed to be able to see that type of diversity at that level. Meeting the alma maters of, Chapel Hill and a lot of those guys when I was a child, being around Kenny Smith, was able to sit down and chat with, Jordan and a lot of those, that stuff. That's why I say, guys, when you're going out here and you're doing things like that, it really it really impresses upon kids when they can get that type of experience. And so it really helped me in business. So that travel, I jumped into that as a travel celebrity agency. Now, it didn't fit too well in Charlotte, Tony, because when I was doing it back in the early 2000s, we might have had maybe a Larry Johnson around here. It wasn't too many.
Right.
Celebrities that was in the Carolinas at that time, but I made it happen. I really patronized a lot of local talent, radio, celebrities, and a lot of different people. As you see, a lot of people in radio do know me.
Right.
Big ups to Cheryl Girl. She's from Salisbury, North Carolina. I was able to take her actually on her honeymoon. We did that. I took about 7 to 10, no, it was 10 buses up to the Obama when he came in for to be president. So I was really being able to really, anchor a lot of different relationships with that way. But turnkey, Tony, that travel agency was perfect because what I did, I harnessed the relationships with a lot of major hotel chains here in Charlotte. Well, again, in retrospect, that next year, CIAA said, hey, we're on the way. And then at that time, that's when I sort of made that addition and said, okay, I want to do travel, which people don't know. I was doing traveling and I was also the ticket master guy at the same time. So that was a lot of demand. So, everybody that was coming into Charlotte via HBCUs or organizations or frats or sororities, they were coming through me to get hotel rooms. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes 30, 40, 50 rooms at a time. And then at that time, I also had the ticketing modules that was also, a lot of the banquet rooms. You remember, Tony, we would use the banquet rooms in the hotels and all that. So it was big business, man. I loved it. It was really it was really a great time for me to see what we could do as a community. But I also seen the other side, that people that wasn't set up properly, the people that really didn't understand business, and the people didn't have their certifications or their LLCs or wasn't set up properly, they missed the bus because, they were only, CIAA was only dealing with people that was really doing real business.
Right. So it wasn't no DBA. It was all about the LLC and all that. So you, if I understand it, you had this was revolutionary, right? You had kiosks almost for ticketing.
Yeah. I mean, what we did, we had a proprietary software, sort of like Ticketmaster. What we would do, we would go to convention centers, and we would bid. And we would say, hey, you guys have a ticketing module. Well, we got an in-house this and that. Okay, well, can we show you? Maybe we can bottom line or affect your bottom line, or either show you some more ROI on what you have going on when it comes to shows. Now, not only we were pitching our proprietary software and our ticketing module that we can show them, how we can, put parking. A lot of times when people were selling tickets, Tony, they didn't understand that they could sell parking. They could sell merchandise, real merchandise with their brands on it. They could also, allocate certain things with the tickets that had a whole lot to do with taxes and things like that could really offset a lot of, pricing and a lot of expenses. So it was really interesting because, it's a lot of money into it. And, Tony, I always like to tell that, and I put that in my book as well. If we ever really pay attention to our entertainment industry and we really look at it as a business aspect, if people could understand ticketing, when they see football games, basketball games, hockey go on and on and on and on,
right?
Your money is no good until it turns to a ticket. That conversion of money to a ticket We missed that bus. That's a currency
Mm.
within itself. It totally went over our heads, right? So there's billions are being made by people buying tickets all over the country right now as we speak. We never even touched it. As a community, we didn't even touch it. I know we didn't because there's
Wow.
nobody out there that's really doing it at that level.
Well, you know what's so ironic about this, Marvin, is that in my sermon that I preached on Sunday, I talk about ticketing. I mean, from the
Hmm.
standpoint of football stadium,
Right,
you take a football stadium, University of Tennessee, 102,000, University of Michigan, 107,000,
oh
and
yeah,
at a rate of $175 per ticket. I
right.
mean, that's $17 million on a
Wow,
Saturday afternoon. That don't
that's
count
right.
the parking, that don't count the concession and all of that. There's a whole lot of money being exchanged hands right there, right?
Mhm. Oh
And
yeah,
so, and I know we were talking about this, man, and maybe you can lean in on it a little bit. We were talking about how Eventbrite and some of these other things came in and kind of, kind
yeah,
of turned the industry upside down. And so, kind of
yeah.
walk
Yeah,
us through a
yeah,
little bit of that
yeah,
experience.
absolutely, Tony. I love it, man. I'm the type of guy, man. I want people to really be able to understand that anything you do, there's going to be a journey. There's going to be pros and cons. Business is business. You never can get comfortable out here, Tony. Me and you know that. Even in our space, you can't get comfortable because if someone's always out there willing to do more, they're going to either try to outwork you, outthink you. So at that time, we were rocking and rolling, man. I mean, we were doing, I've seen checks for CIAA being, I've seen, four or $500,000 checks being, written in CIAA just for promoters at that time. I mean,
Mm,
it's some that's still here in Charlotte. They were making a lot of money. I wouldn't even go into people that own venues. So, with that being said, um, that we call it that time that $800 million gorilla came in and said, "Hold on, hey guys, y'all move on over. We don't need you anymore." Meaning technology, Tony.
mm,
Eventbrite created to the point. Why do we need Marvin when we can create our own ticket? We can
right.
create our own fees. We can allocate our own ticketing platform and put it online and sell our
So,
own
so, so
tickets.
we're cutting out the middleman and
Yeah,
replacing
right.
them with technology.
Hmm. Technology, man. They came in and wiped everybody out, especially the people that's online. Now they've got venues now behind them as well. But at that time, I mean, of course, Ticketmaster and Live Nation. Live Nation has the entertainment. Ticketmaster has the ticketing and have the buildings. So when they
Yeah.
made their coalition, that's unstoppable. You can't stop that. But Eventbrite came in, and to all the other little guys, if you will,
The
it's
smaller,
dismantled everybody because it was like, hey man, our fees are cheaper. We're not talking about hard tickets anymore. You can print your own tickets. You can buy tickets on your phone. That's that phone thing came in, and
right.
man, it was over. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Kind of changed the whole industry. And so here you are rolling, right? Here you are, doing your thing, making a great business, and then all of a sudden technology. And I think about people today that
Hmm.
have dealing with AI.
Right.
Is artificial intelligence going to have an impact on your job? Is your job still going to be here, or can they create an AI robot or a bot that can do those things for you? So, man, what happened to your business then? What happened to
Well,
Marvin Wilson?
I got to go there, Tone. Right? You
I know
remember
you
this?
got to go there, but the people need to know, man. And
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reason
I
why
know,
people need to
man.
know
Hey,
this
hey, I,
is
I,
because
that's
there could be people right now, man, that are saying, "How am I going to make it through what I'm going through?"
yeah.
I mean, we know COVID took a whole lot of businesses out. Reading the Charlotte Observer today, I
Mhm,
think it's a restaurant, Green Room or something like that. Been around
mhm.
97 years, going out of business.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that survived the pandemic, but it took so much of their resources,
Hmm.
time, talent, treasure, and all that, that even though we made it through, they made it through limping.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so
Yep.
I think people would be inspired by your story that you
Hmm.
shared on the radio in terms of what happened to Marvin Wilson when this whole ticket industry kind of evolved and submarine into something else.
Yes, man. Again, this story is a part of my journey, and I have, total transparency when it comes to this because I think it tells a lot about who I am. So going into that, guys, you got to look at, being able to actually, I was actually had people up under me that I was paying, you know, $3,000 or $4,000 a week just to help me out in certain areas of the United States. I mean, we were not only in CIAA, we were in Texas, we're all over the country, guys. So imagine having that type of overhead, and next thing you know, pretty much like you come home and the lights are off, all the contracts are running dry, or people saying, "Hey, this is my last month doing business with you." Now, this is not people saying they're doing business with you and you're only doing, $1,000 or $2,000 with them. These are contracts that are saying we're about to cut this is it. So your whole bottom line is about to change. So within, I would say 7 to 8 months, I tried to hold on, Tony. But for the most part, man, I put it back in my book, Passion for Freedom. Within the year of Eventbrite coming out, I was almost at the point of being saying, hey, guys, I'm almost either bankrupt. I'm going back. You pretty much have to go back to mom's house and figure it out. It got that bad.
Right. And
And that
by the
goes,
way, folks, we do have that in the chat. The link to the book on Amazon.
yeah.
It's in the chat, y'all. So
Yeah, man. And and it made me a well-rounded person, Tone, because again, man, making money like that's why I tell guys, listen to Tony, guys, listen to have these products, having insurances, make sure your business insurance, make sure your accounts receivable is insured, make sure everything is insured. I know that now, but I'm talking about the younger Marvin, okay? And so making sure, guys, that but I didn't have a lot of those things in place. It was just a cash cow, Tony, and I was just, that was it, man.
you were
And
milking that cow, right?
I was milking
So here you are, man. I don't know how old you were, but here you are back at home with mom, right?
Yeah, man. I mean,
And
that's sort of humbling, brother. But you're about 30 something years old. And I mean, I wasn't there for long, but I had to pretty much, bootstrap my money that I had left. And I pretty much had, I had to chill out for a minute, man. Yeah.
right, right.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure did.
So
And
then, so then, the good news is trouble may come for a night, but joy coming in the morning. So you come out of it, man. So tell us how now that you went through that. I mean, just really, killing it, right?
yeah.
You're killing it. It literally almost overnight, the rug gets pulled from right under your feet. You end up back on mama's couch, and then you come out of that. Tell us
Yeah.
about the come out. Tell us about the comeback. Tell us about
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
happened.
man. Well, I pretty much, I pretty much buried myself, Tone, and just learning everything I could about business, financial literacy. I started working with a gentleman, learning a little bit about business credit. I just was burying myself. I mean, I remember times I just, it'd be, 17, 18 hour days, man, just getting it. And then I got on the road. I had about, it didn't much, man. I had about probably at that time, maybe about 15, 16 grand. And I was just like, I'd even took a bus somewhere. I was taking cheap flights. I was driving and I was going to underwriters conventions. I was going to networking conventions. I was knocking on CEO doors. I still had that mindset, Tone. That's the thing. I still had that mindset.
Right,
So
right.
when you got that mindset, guys, I mean, you're going to get it. I mean, it's going to come back to you. You just got to know, you got to stand on what you know and who you are. But, I pretty much got myself into a situation that, learned about credit and seeing the demand on what could really help people, not only with credit, but within business.
Well, and I want to go back to that mindset because that's why they say, millionaires that if you get a millionaire and they lose all their money, they'll get it again because of the mindset. It's who you become in the process of getting there. And so I don't want us to overlook that, is that mindset is so important. And I heard it said the other day is that, if you're going to be a millionaire or whatever your goal is, your mind has to get there first.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's right.
If your mind gets there 1st, and then, I remember Marvin just coming up in the day when, they would always tell us, like, get knowledge, right? Because no one can ever take that away. I mean,
That's right.
if you earned a degree, you may not have the diploma, but you got what it required to get it, right?
Yep.
You go through the service, and you go through boot camp, and you go through Desert Storm, and you may not know where your discharge papers are, but you've been through it, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You've been through
I
it.
like that analogy.
They can't take that away. They can't
Right.
take that away.
Yeah. You're right, man. I mean, they say, hey, you put your mind on it, then you put your grind on it. You go out there and get it, man. And again, it goes back to, man, being just, being blessed, having hardworking parents, man, always empowering me, telling me to go out there and get it. And just having the mindset of that I knew that it's something that I know that's out there that I can do very well. I can do it at a high level. I can serve people. I can convey a message. I can be transparent, and it just showed up that with the financial means and things of that sort. I mean, because Tone, at that time, man, we talking about now. Let me tell you, this era that I'm talking about right now. This was 2013, 2014, 2015.
That wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. But
Right.
you got to understand, and most people that's watching know, back in 2014, 2015, you didn't see a lot of buzzwords in YouTube and people all over talking about how they can hack in the Navy Federal and I'm a credit. You didn't hear all this hoopla about people being masters in credit at that time.
Well,
It
man,
was
and
none of
that's
that.
one of the things, man, I mean, I get approached by so many people that want to talk about credit,
Yeah.
particularly now business credit. I can
Right.
get you business credit. I can get you to. I mean, it's like and so one of the questions that I have for you is how does Marvin Wilson separate himself from a crowded field?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and now I want to get in, and then I want to get into some maybe a couple things that you can leave free of charge tonight, right?
Okay,
Because
sure. Absolutely.
a couple things that you can leave tonight, couple, I won't call them hacks, but some things that people can do, and then how they can move forward. But how does Marvin Wilson stand out in a crowded field of all these people coming out of the woodwork saying that I can get you business credit, and that type of thing?
Well, I had to do some self inventory on that. I saw it coming. I could feel it, Tony. When that journey of via being mom's house, that whole thing. I think I had an apartment for like maybe 3 or 4 months. And then at that time, I was razor sharp. I had an 800 credit score. I had about 2 LLCs and I had a nonprofit, right? And so, with that being said, I not only see it for me, Tom, it's like the people that present ownership or people that it's not about the hoopla on social media. When you're talking about something, you got to be about that matter. You got to be about that. So you got to live that life. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, oh, I'm gonna show you how to do this, and I just pull it up and I'm trying to show you somebody's house to impress you. Now, I'm not trying to be egoic in no way, but in Lake Norman, $1 million houses, being able to put that on my business credit, being able to patronize business vehicles, being able to also have the only brick and mortar credit and business credit business since 2015. I've always had businesses around here. I've had them in Lake Norman. I had them in all over Charlotte, and people know that because I wanted people to feel comfortable, Tony. Because the thing is, for me, again, coming from my past, I that's how I go about business. And I think people respected that because it's like, nah, this guy's not meeting me at Starbucks talking about business credit. No, you're coming in and you're seeing the Toshibas. You're coming in and you're seeing offices. You're seeing these cherry wood floors. You're seeing I'm paying bills. But I'm also showing you how these things supposed to be reporting, how this thing's supposed to be separating you from your personal and your business life, and being able to really show you that your EIN is supposed to make you millions and you're capped off with your social. Let me show you how. But I had to, in our community, Tony, you got to show them. You got to
Right.
be, and I think, nothing against this information. It's a lot of great information on YouTube. There's a lot of these guys presenting a lot of information, but I think that by not thinking it's a facade or me sticking out like a sore thumb, it's because people really in the community see that what I was talking about, I was really doing it and living it myself. Does that
Got it.
make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. So you were walking the talk. You weren't just talking.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And again, Tone, even with that, I go back, guys, because, again, I didn't go to college for this, right? So at that time, utilizing some of the information, I was still learning. I mean,
Right.
this was not our life. We didn't grow up with this stuff. But at the end of the day, I took that risk. I stepped out on faith. I always stayed open at the top, Tone. I stayed humble. I always knew that I had to have somebody around me that knew more than me.
Right.
And I just stayed focused, man. And I think that when people get around me, they feel the energy of, hey, this guy, he's just wanting to try to share the information and hope that you don't make the mistakes that he made. That's
And
pretty much what it
sincerity,
is.
man, and just feeling you're authentic, right, and
Yeah.
you're sincere about it, and I think that's really huge. And the other thing is I've seen you, and we've had some conversations about it's not always the quantity as much as it is the quality of the people you work with, and making sure that, because there's a lot of people out here trying to get over, trying to scam,
Yep.
all these type of things, trying to hack the system
Yeah.
and all those
Yep.
type of things. And we just believe in doing things in the most integrity fashion possible, man. Integrity means everything. And
You're
I
right,
think,
Tone. And the thing about it, Tone, I'll always wear my heart. It's been the thing, man. Being through who I am, definitely I'm a spiritual guy. I try to look into. I'm a principles guy, right?
mhm,
But you got to understand, Tone. Um, and I'm gonna say this. I had never really put this out here. Big shout out to my man TV. He know what he's talking about. But I learned the ticketing platform, and I went into because ticketing, Tone, 99.9 of the people that bought my tickets, I never met those people,
right,
right? So
right,
my mindset, so the people that work for me, they like, Marvin, you a hell of a delegator. Because I'm used to making money without having to deal with the people in a way,
gotcha, gotcha,
because I always had a system and a model between me and the people that they was good, I'm good. But I was able to supply and serve a lot of people at one time. So with that being said, filling that void and really having to be able to be individualized, and you still have that mindset again that okay, I have 200 people that I'm doing credit for. I have 60 or 70 or 100 people that I'm doing business credit for. Sometimes, Tone, and it just goes with as time put in, a lot of people, you're going to learn a lot about people. A lot of people going to come up to the plate. You try to be transparent as possible. You try to help them as much as possible. But at the end of the day, everybody's not going to be happy, right? You
right.
know, a lot of times
Yep.
people are going to say, "Oh man, this system, it wouldn't work for me, or there wasn't enough customer service." So, Tone, you know, when you're out here and you're trying to run a company, there's always going to be, you know, the people that
Naysayers,
you just
man. It's
can't.
always going to be
Yeah,
naysayers.
it's,
And,
and I had to learn that, man. That
and
was probably the hardest thing for me to get into when I really start doing my one-on-ones and really trying to really give my heart and put it in the right place for everybody that I met, because no matter how hard you try, you can't please everybody, man, you know, with business, you know.
right.
And so
And just because it didn't work for you doesn't
mhm,
mean it doesn't work. Right.
right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah.
tell them all the time, well, what's going on with the other hundreds of people that did work it and making, you know, and doing very well with it. But at the end of the day, I just had to harp on that. But the thing is, going into the future, Tone, the decision making and the business models now is changing so quickly. I've been down to Arkansas, business called Lynn Cred. Big shout out to Lynn Cred, Tom, Katie, or whatever they are out there. Tremendous guy. He was from New Jersey. He was from I think what's it called, Strawberry or Cherry, something in New Jersey. Well, anyway, great guy, but he had an algorithm of for all credit cards, and so people would come to them to get revolving business credit cards, and he would, you know, do all the stuff with this technology. But anyway, he was connected with the Walmart type family distribution center down
Okay.
there. And I didn't intentionally go down there to learn business credit. I went down there to learn financial technology from this guy. Now, this was way before Lindio. This was back in 2016, 17. And but it opened up my mind to see where this business was going, because now there's not some guy, you know, back there
Looking
that's
at
making
people.
decisions about your
Right.
underwriting.
Right.
It's technology. And then when I saw Walmart understanding that, you know, and I said this story, when you see Walmart is a city within a city. When I went down to Arkansas, they have a whole city around Walmart, like their vendors and their net 30 business to business contacts that you see in the stores. They have their own like
Locations right there
neighborhood and stores around Walmart you know, down there in
in the
Arkansas. So
headquarters.
with that being said, Tone, it's like walking into Walmart and understanding that everything that you see in Walmart probably been paid for probably 2 or 3 years ago. They have an infinite line of business credit, meaning that jar of mayonnaise that you see, that was ordered or backlogged like 2 years ago. You know, like keep it coming. I always make a story about Patty LaBelle. Love Patty LaBelle. Nothing harping against our community. I love Patty LaBelle, but there was a lesson learned when she bought those pies and put that into Walmart. Within 7 business days, guys, the pies were gone. Now what? How can you supply all the Walmarts in the United States if you don't have if you don't have the funds and the means to have that type of distribution, being able to put that on the floors of all Walmarts in the United States? You can't
Keeping
do
that
it.
supply. Keeping that
You
supply.
can't do it. You
Right.
can't do it. So
Man, I want to give
either
back
you're
big
going to give
shout out
everything.
to a couple people in the chat, man. Jajir Bosnick, man. I haven't seen that brother in a while. Shout out to Concord Tasty Buds Popcorn. They will be on the show in the coming weeks as well. So, man, here we go. So we're doing this full circle, and now you're into the business credit. Where did Lindio come in?
Lindio was it was something during COVID, and I had got a call, and it was a colleague of mine saying, "Hey, Marvin, you know, I see this opportunity out there, man. You're already doing it." Because people got to understand, I was doing funding before Lindio. You know, I was already doing it. It just the brand, the name. So Lindio got my attention when the PPP started.
Okay.
And everybody, you know, was harping about PPP, people doing it the wrong way, people doing it illegally, people doing all this kind of. I didn't get into that because my vibration was like, okay, where's the what is this banking model going to do right now in this recession, in this COVID? You know, people,
Right.
you know, doing COVID, guys. people didn't go into the banks for almost 19, 18 months at one period of time. Nobody was going into banks, but we were still doing banking. I saw that level. I said, okay, I see something there. Lendio was the first company to not only patronize the bigger banks, and they also saw what was going on in the problem with the big banks. And what was happening, Tony, was Wells Fargo, Bank of America, I guess at that time, BB&T and all these guys, they couldn't even get the PPP loans to the people that was actually even banking with them. They couldn't even get them on the line. They were so far backlogged. So here come Lendio, financial technology. Hey, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. Hey, let me be your number one solution. Well, who are you? Well, we're Lendio Central Charlotte. We're out of Utah. We are one of the pioneers with this proprietary software, and we think that we can help you with the backlog, and you can be making money. Let us do all the heavy lifting, and let me show you what it got. Okay. So at that time, me invested in the Lendio, I saw it coming. That investment was made, and when I was out there, you saw all those banks coming to Utah. But I'm gonna tell you what Utah did. They solved the problem. What they did is they implemented the proprietary software that patronized all the major banks in America. And what they did is they took on those PPP loans, got the people, and they start producing and doing, instead of doing one or two or three or four PP loans an hour, they were doing hundreds by the minute. Financial technology.
But wait a minute, man. You got to get this. We got to look at this thing full circle.
Yeah.
Because, man, here's the thing. Here's the thing that just dropped in my spirit. That the very thing. Now, I'm gonna tell you, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Right. The very thing that, in essence, took your ticketing business out is the very thing that then brings in the lending.
Yep.
It brings you in.
Technology. Yep.
Technology. Yep. Technology. And so what the devil meant for harm, God used it for the good. Mm-hmm. Right?
Oh yeah.
And so what the enemy will try to use to take you out, God will take that very same thing and turn you around, man. And that thing just went full circle, bro. Went full circle. Man, listen, I need to do something as we're winding down, and we're not on no time limit, but we want to try to honor time as much as possible, y'all. What are you doing today, man? What kind of collaborating efforts? What are you doing today in these last few minutes, man? Tell us what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, such as you, Tone, I'm really trying to get to a level that I can be able to see how I can impress upon people learning about these different systems that's out here, because it's all about systems and technology. So, big shout out to, with BJ Murphy. He's helping me anchor some relationships, definitely with some type of, instruments when going on with media. We could be talking about that. He's always been there. That's why I wanted to give a big shout out to that brother. He's always brought me a lot of business, so much business, and all the opportunities during my journey. And then with that being said, guys, as I've been doing deals with Lendio and been able to encompass a lot of businesses that I've helped get funded, I've also now have anchored a relationship up in New York, which is a private equity firm that's worth probably close to like $800 million worth of private equity monies. And they're really encompassing so much of business that banks don't work with or deal with. So it gets me in the area that I can do more than what the normal banks can do. Talking about land, going vertical, being able to do commercial deals, being able to get into, solar, being able to get into, and we're going to say it right, in some areas, the cannabis industries from the California, transportation, it's a lot of those things. As long as it's legal, we was able to even get into some casinos. A lot of things out here, even Tobacco Road, we've been able to anchor a lot of relationships with cigar bars, been able to really look at their business model, and not so much even with the money, Tony. Now I have a relationship to be that Tribeca South. So now I'm
Mm.
working to be the New York Tribeca South, being able to encompass from the DC area all the way down to Miami, and being able to really be able to bring that into my team and bring all that business and opportunities down here. That 40 acres and a mule, guys, there's still an opportunity. So people out here that's in it that got land, people out here that's got stuff that you have that's of value, definitely, hit us up, guys, because I want to get to you. It's not about all the money that you have in the bank. We can get you funding on so many other aspects. Just give us a shout. It's really giving me another opportunity outside of what Lindio has helped me with. But now, me being able to be that two-headed giant, now I'm really want to get out there and touch a lot of people and be able to help people have some healthy businesses.
Man, that's pretty awesome. So, man, how do people get a hold of you, man? What's the best way to do that?
Definitely, definitely we're running it right now with info@funding-credit.com, which that's where a lot of my, far as my help and support. So definitely email me at info@funding-credit.com. Or you can go to the website and drop us a message. Of course, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Funding Credit. You could just, or you can call us at the company line, leave us a message, or you can even text us at the company line at 980-263-2426.
Get that one more time, man.
That's 980-263-2426. And its email is at info@funding-credit.com, guys. We right outside here in right across the street. Tony, you've been there, right across the street from Concord Mills area. Got some offices there, and and we're going to be moving around and got some stuff coming downtown now. And we just opened up another satellite office right in front of Bojangles Arena down that way, as far as doing some
Right across on the independent side.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
So, man, as we're wrapping up, and the other thing too, man, we're going to do something together as well. We're going to put together a seminar or something for business owners.
We got you, man.
We've been talking about it. We got to solidify a date first to do that. Maybe it might even be in the fall or something, but we'll get that on the calendar for sure.
Yeah.
But as we're closing down, man, what is the last, if I would say, Marvin, what is the crucial thing that you want to leave the viewers with tonight? What is that one crucial thing that you want, that one statement or that one thought that you want to leave them with tonight?
Having faith in yourself first. Definitely know that, God, if there's a purpose for you, find that first, because it'll be bigger than money. You got to know what you're here for. Your passion for freedom. You got to know what you're here for, guys. And when you show up, God will show up. It's not about the money. It's about being God express, serving people, and just using your authentic self and abilities and skill sets to go out here and do the best that you can do. And then at the end of the day, guys, it's just being consistent. Things are going to show up. Things that's not going to show up. You got to really be able to understand sacrifice, guys, because it's not about yourself. You're going to sacrifice, what you're doing now. So either your family, your kids, or whoever's coming behind you won't have to do that. So it's bigger than you, guys. And just giving people the idea, Tony, that it can be done. Me, 6 years ago, ticketing, right? Going through that journey that I just told you I went through. And now I have the first non-depository bank in the Carolinas, So nobody should never be able to tell you that you can't do something. again, just stay open at the top. Definitely try to make sure that you're staying focused on what you know that you need to do, and now don't get distracted, guys. But sacrifice, I would say, Tony, sacrifice. You're gonna have to sacrifice your times. There's a lot of times people gonna be taking vacations. You won't be able to do it. There's a lot of times people gonna be wanting to go out and have a good time. You won't be able to do it. There's a lot of times people gonna be, it's gonna be a lot of things that you could do, but you got to understand and know what your priority is, and and you got to put the people first.
Man, I told somebody the other day.
Thank you, Turquoise. She was one of my older clients when I first started funding credit. I appreciate that, Turquoise. Thank you so much.
Man, I told somebody this is on your journey to your purpose, on your pathway to your purpose, what God is for you. You're gonna have to learn how to say no.
Right.
And you're gonna have to learn sometimes you're not just saying no to something that's bad. Sometimes you're gonna have to learn how to say no to some things that are very good, but just don't fit your purpose.
That's it. Oh yeah. Yep. That's golden. You're right though. You're absolutely right.
You gotta say no.
You're right. You're right.
Say no to some good opportunities so that you can have a great opportunity.
Yep. That's it.
You can stay in your path, in your wheelhouse, where you're going. And the only way you know how to say no to the right things, right? You got to say no to some, I won't call them all wrong things. Some of them, they're right. They're good things.
Yep.
The only way you're going to know how to say no is to know what your purpose is. And to,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you said it best, Tony, and what you're doing, man, and what we're doing, we're the idea. My grandmother always said, you never know who's watching you. And it's literally these days, right? Right. And I say this, guys, you might see it behind me. I have some things coming out. I have an AKA, which is another group of mine, another business, which is called Marvin, guys. And I teach spiritual economics. It's bigger than money. And that money is not the driving thing for me. I know I talk about it. I help people get it. But once that becomes your idol, that becomes your God, man, you're going to go out here, you do anything for it.
You're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. And so I would say definitely look for the
it's not the money, it's the love of money, right?
That's right. That's right. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So the thing about it is when you fall in love with the money, man, when it's enough, right?
That's right.
When it's enough,
it's the freedom, man. It's the freedom. Seek the freedom. And I always tell people, money is not the green stuff. Money is my own natural energy yield. It's what I say. It's what I believe. It's how I take care of my family. Is how I want to represent and show up in people's lives, right? That's your supply and demand. That's your catalyst between how people come to you and ask you to serve and how you want to exchange monies with you. That's your exchange of energy. It's not the green stuff, guys. You got to vibrate higher than the greenbacks. I know a lot of people that's multi-millionaires, close to being billionaires, and they're walking trash cans. They're depressed, they mad, they upset, they looking to try to steal, cheat you out of your money, and they got the money. So,
well, here's the thing that I always say, Mom, is that whatever you are, money will make you more of it.
That's it. That's all
it is. It's a great magnifier, bro.
Yep.
It's a great magnifier. If you have you talking about having their trash. If your character is jacked up, right? Getting you more money is not going to fix your character.
Right. That's right. Right. That's it, man. Yeah.
So I want to sum it like this as we close it down. I want to sum it like this: seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these other things shall be added onto you. Y'all have a good night. You had been listening to my boy Marvin Wilson. Man, we're gonna have you back.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much, Tony, man. You're doing great things. Thank you for the opportunity, brother, man. I really appreciate you, Tone. And anything I can do, brother, let's link up and let's talk. And it is what it is. We're gonna do what we gotta do, man. All right. Thank you.
Folks, we'll see y'all in 2 weeks. Make sure you go to our YouTube page, subscribe to The Real Money Coach, so that you know when we go on the air with more awesome guests like Mr. Marvin Wilson. It ain't going to be up to his par, but we got some good ones that come along the way. And we y'all have a good night. Have a great 4th of July, great holiday, all that kind of stuff next week. Y'all be safe and God bless you. Take care, everybody.
All right.